welcome back to the NIA Interactive tutorial on how to develop websites using the CMS Made Simple Content Management System. So where we left off last time is we had installed CMS Made Simple and we had also installed our theme. We installed the Favison theme, and now the theme is installed. We have two separate templates of the theme installed, one for the home page and one for the interior pages. But as you can see, the template itself still looks a lot like, exactly like the original template that came with. This doesn't help our client very much, so we're going to go into how we customize these themes. We'll spend the next couple of sessions figuring out how to customize these themes. So we're back here to the admin area, and inside the admin area we are in Layout Design Manager, and the Design Manager we're going to go back and look at the themes here. So the themes that we have already installed are the theme that we have installed is Favison, and the templates that we have installed are Home and Main. We're going to start out with Home because that's the page that we're looking at, and that works just fine. So we're going to take a look at this Home template right now. So the Home template works perfectly well, but there's a couple problems with it. Of course, it needs to be customized, but also even in order to customize it, this template is really long. There is a lot of content here, and that means that troubleshooting and finding individual errors or sections that you want to edit is a bit challenging. So what we're going to do is we're going to organize this in a better way, and then we're going to do some customizations. So let's first identify some sections here. We can see here that we have on the public site we have a header, and that includes a logo and of course the navigation bar. We have a slider here. This isn't really a slider, more of a banner, but a lot of sites now have sliders. We have some kind of information thing here. We have the main area here. We have different sections all the way down, and then at the very bottom we have the footer. Here we have some brands. So there's a lot of different sections, and what we want to do is organize the sections a little better. So starting back here, what we're going to do is we're going to take these sections and turn them into sets of reusable code. And there's two ways we can do that, and we're actually going to do that both of those ways. So here, the first one we have is the header. Inside the header, you can see we do have the logo, and then here you can see we have the home and features and price. So we have all of the navigation bar here. So we're going to take this area, the header, and this is pretty well documented here. So we have the header information, and we're going to cut the header from here. So this shortens up the document significantly, but we still need the header. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back still to the Design Manager. We're opening a new tab in the Design Manager, and we're creating a new template. But instead of creating a new template calling core page, we're doing core generic, and that will create a global content block. So we're going to go ahead and paste this content, the exact thing that we just cut. We're going to paste it, and we could just call this header. But what I found is we prefer, if later on you're going to go and make some changes for the client and create a new theme, for example, I found it's easier to just name the template along with the theme as well. So here's Favison header is what we're calling this, Favison dash space header, and we save that. So now, in addition to our two main templates, which are pages, we now have a generic template, the header, and that is a global content block. So if we save this template now, the home template, and we refresh, we know this is going to disappear here. The top navigation bar is going to disappear because it's no longer there on the page. So we don't want it taking up all the space, but we still want it on the page. So we're going to connect it to the page reusing the block by using some smarty tags. In this case, we are calling a global content block, and the name of that global content block is Favison header. Once we apply that and refresh, then the header shows up again. All it's doing is it's grabbing this header from here and placing it into the template right there. All right, so we got that. It looks great. So let's do that with some of these other areas too. Here's the home banner. Usually this is going to be a slider, but a couple things we're going to do here. First of all, we'll just go ahead and cut that. We want to treat this a little bit differently because we may want to have others have access to this. So right now we're just going to take this and we're going to go to another area inside of the back end, we're going to go to Site Admin and Module Manager, and we're going to install a module here that's going to help us save some of this information. So we had a problem connecting with the server. All right, so we're going to install a module called Snippets. Here's the snippet, and we just click download and install. It gives us a little warning, and then we install. And this snippet basically works like a global content block. But this global content block here, this content where we can just reuse snippets of blocks of code, instead of being inside of the templates, is outside of the templates, and therefore you can allow different people to have access to them. So we're going to go back now to content, and you can see inside of content we had content manager and file manager and news. We now also have snippets. There's no snippets here, but we're going to add one, and we're just going to paste what we had in the banner. We're going to call this one Favison Slider. Now, we can, in addition to allowing Smarty processing in here, which we're not going to do right now, we could also turn this into a WYSIWYG area. So right now it's all code, and that makes it difficult for some people to see. But if we're going to do WYSIWYG, the next time we open it up, then we see it as WYSIWYG. Even if we don't see the background image here, we can still see the WYSIWYG. It's a what you see is what you get processor here. And that means that if you have clients who don't want to mess around with the code and you're going to reuse bits of code, you can reuse them inside of the snippet. So here is the code, the snippet instead of global content, and the name is Favison Flyer. So we're just going to copy that, and we're going to go back in here in the home template, and we're going to apply it, and we'll go back to the page and we refresh. It looks like nothing happened, which is great news, because that means that now this code is sitting inside of a snippet. So we're going to use some more snippets here. So let's look at the other areas that we have on the site. Here's the service area, and this comes right after the slider. So if you're here, the slider, then this is the service area. These three services that are provided then becomes the service area. So we're going to grab the service area, and we're going to turn that into a snippet as well. I already know what we're going to call this one, so I'll just go ahead and enter it before. This is Favison Services. We'll call this Home Services. And then now we go to the snippet area, we add it, we give it a name, and we paste it in there. Right now we won't do WYSIWYG or Smarty, but we will add it, we'll test it, comes out fine. So we'll do a couple more just to clean up. Now this about area we must leave here. This is one of the very few requirements that you have to have on the page, and that's the content Smarty tag. So we cannot take this out. So this about area, this area right here must stay. Now we're going to change it around, but it still has to stay. So this one stays inside of the template. It can't go. Feature is next, and that's this block here. I kind of like this block with the separation of colors, so we are going to keep that, but this one is called feature, so we're going to call that Favison Home Feature. We're applying that, and then we're going to go to the snippets and add Favison Home Feature and paste it. Then we're going to do the same with the very next section. So after the home feature, we have an about. So we'll call this one Home About. Got the Favison name here. So again, this is going to make the code reusable, but more importantly for us here, it's going to make this area very clean, the template very clean, and it's going to allow for anyone to come in and edit any one of these individual sections. So a client could come in and they could edit the section without messing with the template. Here, misspelled snippet up here. This was going to create an error or a disconnect. All right, so there's portfolio, and we'll name this one, and just paste it. We've just got a couple more to do. Here's the blog area, which we probably won't keep, but we're just going to have it in here. This is the home blog, which would be different. We could actually create one that is a blog from somewhere else. So we're going to name that home blog. Alright, let's just do a test real quick and make sure everything is still working. This is still there, the dot is still there, the blog is still there. So now we only have two more areas to go, and that's the brand and then the footer. So we're going to create the site for an organization, and so the organizations are not going to have brands per se, but they could have partners. So we're going to just name this partners. We'll see how we could use it later. And we may not even use it on the homepage. But because it's a snippet, then we could carry it anywhere we want and use it there later. It's not necessarily going to be home. And then the final one we have here is the footer. All right, so all this code that used to be here inside of the main home template is now suddenly off of the main template, even though the template, when it goes to the outside, looks exactly the same. And what this lets us do then is very easily cut things out. So we like this area here. I don't think we're going to need these features up here, so why don't we cut those out? So it's not the slider, this is home services. So let's cut out home services. And now it goes straight from the banner right into the intro section, right into the welcome. Now after that we have the divider, which I like to break up of color, but we don't really need this part here, and the pricing we don't need either. Actually, we could use the pricing. So we'll keep the pricing, we'll take out the blog, and we'll take out this about. Here's the main. We're going to take out the about. We're going to take out the blog. So let's see how that looks. And there you go. So now we have the new slimmed down home page with the intro, the breakup to the intro, little pricing thing there, and then the footer. So now we have it well organized. The next thing we have to do is customize. So in the next section, we'll figure out how to customize some of these different areas that we just separated out and completed.